intelligence. Scary, isn't it? Humans spend time learning skills and even getting a degree, but people keep on patronizing AIs instead of putting a budget on how to educate humans with prior training in the field of their employment. That is why this house firmly believes that artificial intelligence does contribute to unemployment. This means that because of the development of AIs, jobs are being inaccessible to the people, especially to the middle and low class workers, wherein only high profile companies are gaining further profits from it. Our side will be elaborating on the following points: how AIs are replacing jobs leading to unemployment, and how our AIs reducing labor costs leads to job loss, and how AIs are reducing human interactions in social services. To begin with, I would like to mention the definition of AI. Artificial intelligence is the theory and development of computer-based systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and translation between languages. AI has dramatically improved our world in ways unimaginable. But there are many concerns regarding the impact it can have on employment and the credibility of the workforce. This implies the possibility of millions of people facing unemployment in the next decade due to the automation in neural networks. According to the World Economic Forum, the future job of report 2020, AI is expected to be replaced 85 million jobs worldwide by 2025. And in the present times, there has already been a significant transformation in different sectors due to AI. With enhanced automation and machine learning, we are able to design and create vehicles that are capable of sensing the environment and moving safely with no or little human input. These vehicles are self-driven and do not require any human driver for their movement. With the growth in these automated vehicles, the demand for professionals like drivers, sailors, and pilots would rapidly go down. In the long run, we would witness certain jobs that will now be less relevant and finally obsolete. Though artificial intelligence has numerous benefits if implemented in day to day life, it is also becoming the cost of unemployment. So, the biggest challenge here would be to implement it in such a way that it doesn't enhance unemployment. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll give a 1 minute time for rebuttal preparation. Time for the rebuttal preparation has elapsed. The first speaker of the negative team, you may have the floor.
The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, but the illusion of knowledge. Stephen Hawking. Good afternoon, honorable judges and opponents. I am Jura Suryo, the first speaker of the opposition team, and artificial intelligence is simply that, an illusion of knowledge. To listen today, let me first set a clear parameter to this debate, as the government team has clearly failed to do so. Artificial knowledge, or AI, is the ability of a computer or robot controlled by other computers to do tasks that are usually done by humans because they require human intelligence. AI in this context of the motion is not just the application, but also the exposure. With the parameter set, the opposition team wishes for the government to respect these boundaries and keep in use to ensure relevancy of the debate. To rebut the previous speaker, with the faulty argument she gave, it is highly implied that AI is used in every single workforce, and that is why it can be so detrimental to the economy sector. But this is simply not true. According to a recent Sync report, the University of Washington Grover stated that AI costs $25,000 to train over the course of only 2 weeks. This means that only affluent businesses actually have the privilege to use AI systems. This argument in itself is simply a fallacy. In a study done last year, OECD found that there appears to be no clear relationship between AI and employment. However, in occupations where computer use is high, greater exposure to AI is linked to higher employment growth. This explanation comes from the partial automation by AI that increases productivity, as well as by shifting the task composition. AI actually allows workers to be more productive by automating mundane tasks. For example, it's estimated that 40% of the work salespeople do during the sale process can be automated through the use of current AI solutions. According to the World Economic Forum, the previous speaker said AI is expected to replace 85 million jobs worldwide by 2025. The government uses this as their argument. However, the report goes on to say that this will also create 97 million new jobs in that same time frame. To put things in retrospect, all jobs will be replaced, and henceforth, 12 million more jobs will be created. This is because the more technology encompasses and the more we demand of it, the more people are involved in doing so. AI has actually accelerated the demand for positions such as robotic engineers and data scientists over the last few years. A number of positions have developed around AI, such as AI trainers and even neuroscience. These jobs are classified as high-skilled occupations, and AI increases the job opportunity for such occupations. The rise of these occupations means the threshold for job requirements are also raised. More people are going to be pursuing higher education, which can only be beneficial for the future of our nations. The government might again oppose this, saying that AI can only be beneficial to those who are privileged enough to have this education. But this is simply untrue and to some extent even ignorant. When the threshold rises, governments will have an increased incentive to invest in the education of their citizens. This means more scholarship offers to obtain a degree for these high-skilled occupations. And with this, I'd like to end with a note. Yes, there has been a rise of AI, but with this rise comes job opportunities instead of closures. These job opportunities offer the citizens of the world a unique chance to pursue higher education, which in turn benefits a nation. Someone once said, "Do not fear change, but change fear." Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give a 1-minute time for rebuttal preparation. Second affirmative speaker, you may have the floor.
Good afternoon, Bianca, the second speaker of the affirmative team. Before starting with my points, I would like to refute the opposing team. The speaker mentioned that AI can also create new jobs, but these jobs are highly specialized and usually require extensive practice and training, which requires large amounts of money. How about the less fortunate, who are mostly impacted by AI unemployment, and they can't also receive the knowledge? So instead of creating new jobs, it is becoming more inaccessible for all the people. Considering the speed in which technology develops, many companies and industries have chosen AI over manual. To employers, AIs might look like more appealing due to the lower labor costs in the long run. However, what does this mean for the working class people? As more and more companies decide to move towards AIs, more and more people will lose their jobs and end up unemployed. According to the University of Oxford, artificial intelligence is predicted to be able to write school essays by 2026, sell goods by 2031, writing a best-selling book by 2049, and conducting 2053. What then will happen to the authors, doctors, or teachers who worked for years and years to reach the current position? AI robot and other software and hardware are becoming less expensive and need of the benefits and services required by human workers, such as sick days, lunch hours, bathroom breaks, health insurance, pay promotions, and performance reviews, which spells troubles for workers and society at large. Though appealing to employers, this will end up hurting much of the working class, who will have to compete against machines that do not need any of the mentioned benefits. With the introduction of AI, blue and white colored workers are impacted. 48% of experts believe AI will replace blue and white collar jobs, greater income inequality and increased unemployment. In October of 2020, the World Economic Forum report found 43% of businesses surveyed plan to reduce workforces in favor of automation. Income inequality was made worse over the last 4 decades as 50 to 70% of changes in American paychecks were caused by wage decreases for industries experienced rapid automation, including AI technologies. Artificial intelligence will one day outrun human capabilities and will manage most of the human occupation. As a result, many of the working class people will be unemployed and live less than ideal lives while the rich and powerful continue prospering. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll give 1 minute time for rebuttal preparation. The second negative speaker, you may now have the floor.
The human body is the most complex system ever created. The more we learn about it, the more appreciation we have for what a rich system it is. As the new era of industrial revolution advances, the fear of artificial intelligence replacing human jobs arises. But what we do not mention is how unattainable this so-called proclaimed reality is. Honorable adjudicators, my fellow debaters, members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day. I stand here today as the Deputy Leader of the Opposition to negate the motion of artificial intelligence contributing to unemployment. Allow me to rebut before I proceed to my arguments. The previous speaker contended that many would lose their jobs and significant unemployment due to the abilities of AI, but this argument should be rejected for the following reasons. So firstly, most of the people who will lose their jobs are ones who were equipped to take on the new ones due to job fluidity. Secondly, governments make program trainings for workers who need help in transferring to these types of jobs. And thirdly, careers mentioned by the previous speakers are ones that will not be affected by IA machinery, which I shall explain later. As Deputy Leader of the Opposition, I strongly oppose the motion for these essential contentions. First, the complexity of the human mind, and second, the fluidity of labor. First, the complexity of the human mind is unmatched. According to a research study, computers lack many of the skills human intelligence has, such as high-level cognition associated with conscious perception. The human brain has many subset capabilities that artificial intelligence simply cannot par with. It is greatly unfeasible that robots cause unemployment due to their lack of skills in so many job aspects such as creative arts, competitive sports, education, psychiatry, and much more mentioned before by the previous speaker. AI only help make a job more efficient, but it can never replace the experience, morality, and rationality of a human. Second, robots were not made to cause unemployment with our society, but rather quite the opposite. Research shows that AI causing unemployment is strongly against what our history suggests. What happened to real workers, the VHS makers, and much more? Our historical background shows that with each new wave of the Industrial Revolution, new job opportunities are created. Labor is fluid and society is still continuously creating jobs for those who lost theirs to technology. The markets have adjusted and people eventually find new work, as they have done so in the past. As humans, no matter the level of understanding, we are very complex beings with very complex thoughts. Artificial intelligence cannot replace the complexity of the human mind, nor can it cause unemployment. From then till now, labor has been fluid and the continuous cycle of equilibrium has happened. And no evidence thus far has ever shown any change to this type of relationship. Once again, I'm the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, here to reassert my motion that artificial intelligence does not contribute to unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the timer will start for 1 minute for a rebuttal preparation. One minute is up. The third affirmative speaker, you may now have the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, and dear educators, once again, I'm Beyonce, the third speaker of the affirmative side. But before I proceed to my argument, I would like to point out some of the points that the negative side has stated. The previous speaker mentioned that people can still find new jobs since not all jobs are managed by AI. But while many of those who are forced out of jobs technology will find new ones, that won't happen overnight. Finding a new job isn't as easy as you think. Sudden job transition may force people to be unemployed as the skills that are required for the other jobs aren't aligned with what they have. Also, the first speaker implies that because of AI, there will be an increase for education and workforce. Therefore, the first speaker agrees to us that human workforce matter. So why spend the budget with AI research instead of putting the budget in training the human force? AI needs repairing and maintenance, which needs plenty of cost. So rather than spending the budget on research on those development, why not spend it on intensifying job-related training and work enforcement innovations? Also, the second speaker also reiterated that slow human workforce will be replaced by AI. Again, instead of putting the budget on AI, why not put this budget on human workforce? Robots, they have no feelings of judgment compares to human. The opposing team has been stressing that human still matters than AI in workforce. AI is focusing on automation that will generate social services accessible, but it will require less human interaction, hence giving less people to do these social services. These changes also brought by artificial intelligence will drastically alter the service industry. While it may appear to be amazing futuristic land of AI and technology, there will be serious implications that need to be addressed. What will this technology do to the populations that already face issues surrounding fast foods? Most importantly, what will happen to the vast amount of people who rely on these jobs that will be taken by AI-generated programs? One example of this is McDonald's. In recent months, McDonald's has tested voice recognition at some of its restaurants, seeking to replace the human workers who take order with faster system. But unemployment at just 3.5% in the US, the fast food industry is facing one of its worst labor shortages in decades. At this point, only companies will gain from this development because in the long run, AI will be cheaper than it is now, meaning that they are cheaper than paying wages to a larger group of workers. So the companies will no longer have to provide insurance for their workers' healthcare and more. These changes will cause massive implications for every aspect of the sector, most importantly for the workers and consumers. Automation is already causing a decrease in staffing needs and affecting compensation because the only thing large companies values is how they will make money, making sure that they will be spending as little as possible but earn as much as possible.
Thank you. The time for the rebuttal preparation will start now. 1 minute is up. The third negative speaker, you may now have the floor.
Good afternoon, esteemed citizens and school lieutenants. My name is Vivek. I am the third speaker from the opposition team. My team and I are feeling honored to present our points on the topic artificial intelligence contribute to unemployment to the honorable judges. To start, I would like to reiterate the benefits artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, brings to our society to further support the arguments that my first and second speaker has presented. Firstly, one of the greatest advantages of AI system is that they enable humans to be more efficient. AI can be leveraged to perform small, repetitive tasks faster, or it can be used to complete much larger, more complex tasks. Regardless of its application, AI systems are bound by human limitation and will never get tired. AI will most likely not replace human employment because it's often used to perform mundane, monotonous, time-consuming tasks some humans could find particularly enjoyable. For instance, ensuring companies use AI to process claims faster and with the high volume than a human could, freeing up time for humans to focus on more points matters. Secondly, AI system eliminate the risk of human error, which produces a more accurate result. This means that they accurately lower human error rate. Commonly cited statistics claim that human error is responsible for anywhere between 70 to 100% of incidents. This is because the human brain can only focus on one task for so long before the focus starts to slip. When people get tired, they they are more likely to make poor decisions and become vulnerable to mistakes. The human brain can also only focus when people get tired. They were more likely to make poor decisions and become vulnerable to mistakes. Repetitive jobs can be particularly prone to human error. When a task is repetitive, it's easier for human to lose concentration. AI is used to tasks as such as those repetitive jobs that human just cannot be yet to do. AI systems are not used in occupations which need a direction interaction with other humans such as HR manager, lawyer, and doctor. The government team might oppose the fact that doctor cannot be replaced with AI, but it's simply true. Even the AI system is not isolated, still needs a substantial amount of human workforce. These machines cannot operate alone. In fact, machines such as these are actually creating a new job, right? Which increases employment and decreases unemployment. Lastly, AI is used in informative decisions making. This bandwidth for. Thank you, Sujit.
All right, thank you. So after this is the fourth speaker. We won't have any rebuttal, so we will only give 30 seconds for preparation. Thirty seconds is up. The fourth affirmative speaker, you may now have the floor.
Artificial intelligence is a luxury technology, which is a great step into the future. But how it will impact our society is a big question mark. Good evening, respected opponents and judges. I am Azim, the fourth speaker of the affirmative team. To recap the main points, we were presenting how AIs are replacing jobs, which lead to unemployment. The development of AI makes a job more easier and eventually fires humans. How sad and devastating. What is going on with humanity? For instance, occupation like medical field, customer service, receptionist, proofreading, manufacturing, pharmaceutical work, and retail services
Sorry,
are being replaced by artificial intelligence.
Shivangi, all right. Muhammad Azim, could you turn on your cameras? You don't need to use the, okay. All right, thank you. You may resume.
Okay. This would automatically increase the unemployment rate in the country. Furthermore, we were also explaining how AI is reducing labor costs, leading to loss of jobs. When a job is done by artificial intelligence, it would be less expensive and would need none of the benefits and services required by human workers. How are these working class people going to stomach themselves and their families? Currently, half of the companies have AI embedded into their business on same level. AI is also reducing human interaction in social experiment.
All right, pause the time.
Sorry, there is an announcement in my school. 1 second, yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Yes, no worries.
Sorry, your camera has to be on.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I can be continuing now. AI is also reducing human interactions in social services because it directly moves towards automation and generating social services. For example, restaurants are using AI to interact with customers and there are less services from humans that are taking orders from customers. Everyone, look what our world has become. We are losing touch on social skills. Is this the world that we aspire to have? Last but not least, the debate is definitely our victory since our solid argument aren't just about replaced by intelligence, negative effect they're living. Our opponents claim that much we are still affirm with us that artificial intelligence contributes to serious unemployment. With that, we rest our case. Thank you.
Thank you. 30-second for preparation. We'll start now. Thirty seconds is up. The fourth negative speaker, you may now have the floor.
Thank you, honorable judges, esteemed opponents, and our respectable audience. I am back once again as a representative of the opposition team to give our last remark. The debate has discussed and analyzed many arguments among this motion and study cases. Two has been presented. We appreciate that we can discuss this motion with composure and objectivity. With this, let me reiterate the arguments that the opposition team has mentioned. From the first speaker, we refuted the first affirmative speaker with their false facts and data. We mentioned and revealed that although jobs are getting replaced by AI, millions more are going to be created. AI systems are also creating high-skilled occupations. The government, once again, refuted this, saying that the education can only be attained by those who are privileged. But if they had listened more attentively, then they would come to find out that governments will have an increased incentive to invest in the education of their citizens once the threshold rises. This means more scholarship offers to obtain a degree for these high-skilled occupations. From the second speaker, we presented the fact that AI can help make a job more efficient. It can never replace experience, morality, and rationality of a human. Moreover, robots were not made to cause unemployment within our society, but rather quite the opposite. We go on to mention that labor is fluid and the cycle remains constant as we balance ourselves to the acceleration of artificial intelligence. From the third speaker, we stated that AI enables humans to be more efficient. This is because AI will most likely not replace human employment because it's often used to perform mundane, monotonous, time-consuming tasks that humans wouldn't find particularly enjoyable. Additionally, AI systems limit the risk of human error, which produces a more result. And lastly, AI is used to help make these decisions, but the decision itself can only be made by business leaders. The opposition team is more than proud to present our arguments for the motion artificial intelligence contributes to unemployment, which in no way we support. Judges, the opposition team has also respected today's debate, but the government unfortunately has failed to do so. For everyone here, the speakers are only allowed to go and give their speech twice if they went as the fourth speaker for the second speech, as I am doing here right now. We respectfully request the judges and audience to keep this in mind when evaluating to ensure the integrity of today's debate. Thank you.
All right, thank you, debaters. That concludes our match. To all of our audience, I am about to send Google Forms for you to vote on your favorite speaker, and it has been pasted. Please don't forget to vote. To our judges, please follow me inside the breakout room. For the audience, you all may stay in the main room and vote on it. While you do that, you may view one performance from our school's orchestra club entitled Tomorrow's People. Thank you.
For the judges of the second match, thank you for patiently waiting. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes more and we will have the winner between Team G and Team J. Okay, we're just waiting for the singing, the intermission. Okay, go ahead. Gayatri, what did we prepare for at this point?
Even by comparison. Only the information will be linked.
Okay, how many minutes more are we waiting for?
4 minutes here. I've been broadcasting the notification to the breakout rooms so they are aware.
Okay, maybe we can also get opinions, even if we haven't seen any argumentation yet. Let's ask for their opinions. Again, Marcia, would you like to choose somebody to share their bets?
Sure.
So is it B or what team again? G,
Yeah.
right? B or G?
B or J, what do you expect from them? Who do you think is going to win? How about from India, Angelina? Would you like to express your opinions?
Yeah. Hello. I think that maybe Team G only will win since they won this competition. But I mean, if they perform so well, then maybe they will continue to perform well. So maybe Team G.
G. Okay. How about from the guests, Philippines? Mark, would you like to express your opinions? Who do you think is gonna win, Team G or B?
Hello, are you referring to me?
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. If I were to judge this competition or this match, I would go for Team J because first and foremost, they follow the guidelines. And as mentioned earlier by Annika, if I'm not mistaken, it must be the first and the second speakers who should be delivering the reply speech. And aside from that, you can also see how articulate the speakers from Team J are, most especially Drea and Isabel. But of course, we have our judges and we have to respect, right, their professional judgment on this particular round. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to express the opinions on Team B or G? Who's gonna win? What do you expect?
Okay. Let it be. Let it be Team B. So let's see.
So there's B and there's G. So is there anyone else who'd like to speak up maybe? Yes. Would you like to?
Can I just clarify if there's a rule that the first speaker should be the last speaker?
Sorry?
Is there a certain
On
rule,
your camera, please.
that the first speaker should be the last speaker, as the Team J was reiterating earlier? Kindly read my chat.
Yes, that is the rule. Sorry for MC, do you mind giving me the share screen so I can share screen the rules? Host, please, so I can share screen the rules for everyone.
Miss Yosrin, can you make Drea the co-host?
So for those of you who are not familiar with the rules of Asian parliamentary debate, I'm showing you a link. Let me send it to the chat actually. And if you can see here, fourth speakers are doing what it's called as a reply speech. As you can see, can only be done either by first or second speaker from each bench, right? So, and opposition whip is the third speaker, reply speech is fourth. Deputy leader of the opposition is second speaker. And reply speeches can indeed only be done by either first or second speaker. And as we can see from the last debate, their reply speaker is not their first or second speaker. It is a new speaker that they have brought out entirely. So yes, it does indeed breach the rules. There are only 3 members of the teams. Sorry, to reply to the guest here. There are only 3 members of the team. That's how an Asian parliamentary debate goes. So it goes 3 people from each team, and a reply speech can only be done by first or second speaker from the team. Does that answer your question? If it doesn't, I suggest you to look at the link and analyze the rules again. Thank you, guys.
Is it 15 minutes?
Yes, sir, they're already back. So, Marcia, you can.
Okay. Now let us start the second match. The judges today we have are Judge Caridad Grecia Cuerdo, Professor of Law from the Philippines. Would you like to say anything, Miss?
Wait, where is she now?
Wait lang. Hi, Sir Leo. Wait ang saglit lang. Nag-share break.
Okay.
We're gonna call her later, maybe.
Okay, I'll call her later.
Okay. Next, we have Judge Antonina Sidnova, a CEO and head teacher of the Online International English-Speaking Club from Russia. Miss, would you like to say any few words?
Yeah, thank you. And just two words. Yeah, hello again, dear colleagues, dear students, contestants. It's an honor to be with you today, and I'd like to say that I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed by your arguments, your counter-arguments, your speeches, and I can really imagine how how it is nervous for you, dear students, dear contestants. And I would like to remind you that the main point is not a win. The main point is practice and your participation and great relationship in team. So, and what you really do. So good luck and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Next, we have Ms. Lenora Abdualimovna, a teacher from the Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Physics and Math from Kazakhstan. Miss, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. So, good day, dear participants, colleagues. So it's nice to have this honor to meet again one more time. A couple of 2 years, previous 2 years, I was also a judge of this brilliant competition. So this is like a great opportunity for all, not all participants, but as well as, but also judges, teachers, yeah, of English language, to see how the students deliver their opinions and how they prepare their counter arguments, how they are ready to control their emotions and feelings while they're speaking. That is brilliant opportunity to see, and also enjoyment to see how our students are developing themselves in terms of expressing their opinions in different topics. They are brilliant. And that is our first time for my students from Kazakhstan to take part in these two competitions. One of them was a speech contest and the second is debate. They are small children. For now, they are 8th grades. And I hope that my students are trying to do their best. I hope they will win. And I also agree with Antonia Stitnovaya, a judge from Russia, that is not important to win. That is the most important thing is participation. Just see how they can do in the future. So in which level they are. Thank you very much for inviting me as a judge today. Good luck, our participants.
Yes. Judge Carida, would you like to say a few words now?
Judge Caridad.
Hello. Hi, yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for not being here when I was called. Congratulations to all the participants. Thank you also for having me into this prestigious event. I congratulate to those who shall win in this contest, but to those who may lose, they are just postponed winners. So may the best speakers and the best debaters win in this event. And I believe that all those participants, all the speakers are all good speakers. I am so much impressed by the first debaters. And hopefully, the second debaters will do the same. I think the combination of both the mind and the heart were seen from all of the speakers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. We will now start the second match. The timer will be shown on the screen, and we will remind you by saying time if you exceed the time limit, which is 3 minutes.
Wait, sorry. We forgot the one more judge. Sorry. There's another judge that maybe your list was not updated.
Yeah, probably me. I don't know. Is it my turn now?
Okay, sorry, Miss Katarina. Would you like to speak a few words?
Yeah, I would like to. I was prepared. So good afternoon from Croatia. My name is Katarina, and I'm an English and German teacher, mentor teacher. And it's really an honor and privilege to be invited to be one of the judges in the finals today. And I wish you all good luck. But if I may add something, I'm a bit disappointed. I wanted Team J to win. And if I may say, Drea and Isabel, you were great, in my opinion. Just keep up the good work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we will start the second match. Let me repeat everything I said. The timer will be shown on the screen, and we will remind you by saying time if you exceed the time limit, which is 3 minutes. The first affirmative speaker, you may have the floor. The timer will start once you begin speaking.
Our dear adjudicators, my fellow debaters, and members of the House, a pleasant afternoon to all. I am Denise Ruiz, the Prime Minister, upholding the motion that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the context of globalization. First, I would like to introduce the members of the affirmative team who are proud to present our case. Ben Nguyen is our Deputy Prime Minister, who will effectively rebut the points of the opposition and introduce more of our arguments. Darren Lianto is our affirmative whip, who will do the same. And Amina Temirbek is our reply speaker, who will strike the final nail by summarizing our arguments to prove that this motion should stand. First, we define nationalism as the feelings of attachment to one another that members of a nation have, and to a sense of pride that a nation has in itself. Globalization, on the other hand, is a word used to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economies, cultures, and populations, brought that by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, and flows of investment, people, and information. This brings me to my argument. Globalization and nationalism are complementary. Through focusing on protecting their own countries because of nationalism, citizens are able to think of the advancement of their country and can contribute to globalization along the way. Studies have demonstrated that nationalizing and globalizing forces can be complementary rather than contradictory, with nationalist actors accepting, embracing, and even promoting globalization for various, often nationalistic objectives. Their coexistence is not a battle in which only one is destined to emerge as the winner and the other as a loser, but it is rather a mutually beneficial coexistence of two perfectly compatible beliefs. By forging a sense of solidarity across members of the national community, nationalism also arguably creates conditions for a more effective functioning of the system of social welfare and distributive justice worldwide. Nationalism promotes globalization as long as globalization is desirable for national power and security and does not fundamentally challenge the system of nation states. So yes, even though there are many changes and challenges of globalization to nationalization, they do not amount to some sort of deep change or a fundamental transformation. And for these reasons, the affirmative team firmly believes that upholding the motion that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the context of globalization. Thank you.
Now we will give a 1-minute gap for rebuttal preparation. 1 minute is up. The first negative speaker, you may have the floor.
Today is not just another day, it's another opportunity, chance, and beginning. A blessed afternoon, everyone. I am Beyonce, the first speaker on the negative side. The speaker on the negative side was premised upon the context that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the context of globalization. But I beg to disagree because nationalism is more dangerous than beneficial in the context of globalization. My argument for today will be very simple. This House believes that nationalism is dangerous than beneficial because nationalism contributes to internal fragmentation and instability. It requires that we decide who is and isn't truly part of the nation, encouraging exclusionary prejudice attitudes and policies towards anyone within our borders who is defined as part of them. That is why my team and I will be elaborating on the following topics. Number 1, nationalism contributes to internal fragment and instability. Number 2, nationalism can be dangerous, especially in an economic standpoint. And number 3, because of nationalism, it can cause competition between nations that lead to war. According to Anthony Smith, nations have deep roots. They are the base on pre-political, cultural, and ethnic identities, and their social, psychological, and moral significance sustain their power and explains their persistence. In this view, nationalism emerges primarily as a cultural doctrine which seeks to preserve and promote identity, culture, and autonomy of a nation, which can lead to a narrow room for cultural unity and secure socio-economic integration and development of countries and the people around the world. Nationalism is like patronizing your own product while globalization answers the problem of the world. For example, for the development of COVID vaccines, America wouldn't accept the vaccines that was from China because they do only patronize their own works that it endangers the people because they wouldn't accept the vaccines. So it is more dangerous than beneficial. In other words, nationalism will make independent nation more dependent or make the dependent nation more independent. Therefore, it is increasing competition and tension between the nations. That is all. Thank you.
Now we will give a 1 minute gap for rebuttal preparation.
Okay, while waiting, we would also like to acknowledge, sorry, Miss Attorney Jess, are you still there? We're sorry. I guess the one who was supposed to update the PowerPoint presentation missed your name, and also Miss Katarina. We're very sorry, but okay, so we're now recognizing Attorney Jess. She is the professor of law in UPH, or the University of Pelita Harapan, or in Indonesia we call it Universitas Pelita Harapan.
Okay, thank you very much, Leo. So it's a pleasure. I wanted to leave because I had to talk to someone, but I'm staying. So, and I was really listening to the first two speakers. So I would just like to say thank you to Leo for this invitation to judge, and good luck to the two teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. The second negative speaker, you may have the floor.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Ben, and I'm the Deputy Prime Minister, and I will be the second speaker of the affirmative team. I would like to make some rebuttals and outline the argument. Well, with the arguments outlined by the opposing team, they have stated that with the rise of globalizations and nationalism, they are more. They may promote arrogant behaviors between people, and also may prevent people to value other cultures or in another world, prejudice. Well, however, we found it ridiculously wrong for these reasons. What a majority of the speech given by the opposing team is only opinions backed up by inappropriate research while the opposing team did not do a good job finding a more appropriate source to back up their arguments, and clearly they show a very weak link between the case given and the motions. Hence, we would like to give a more reliable source, and at this time, there's a strong link between them. Well, according to the Migration Policy Institute, MPI, they have stated that in 2019, the immigrant rate comprised of 13.7% of the total US population. And there's also a ridiculously high number of languages spoken in the United States of America, in which range about 140 to 115, and hence making it the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. And the statistic is backed up by researchers from the Translator Without Border organization. It is shown that everyone is accepted in the whole country, and otherwise the number should be much lower. And I would myself would be moving on, would like to outline my case. Well, according to this website, they have stated that 63% of the Americans reporting being either extremely or very proud of the American. And when the minority, they may say that they still have nationalisms, in which I don't put on the case that they do not have. And let's not forget about the case that USA is considered to be one of the largest economies in the world, with the nominal GDP being the highest of all countries. And that exceeds China. In research presented by the research of FDI website, it's very clear that there's a strong link between nationalism and productivity, hence contributing to the fact that it has a very positive effect by the context of globalization. As backed up by the Office of United States Trade Representative, it had established numerous organizations in which help governing trade among 154 members, and this could not be done if American people was not proud of the country. Well, this also leads to another point where I like to emphasize that according to the International Monetary Fund, they've stated that global growth is projected to rise from estimated 2.9% in 2019 and 3.3% in 2019. Without nationalism, they won't push in productivity and efficiency to move on to a higher ranking of their wealth and well-being. Well, finally, I would like to say that it is in our core belief that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the concept of globalization. And to finalize my speech, with my backup research and with the effect of free trade, or in another term, globalization, it has come to a clear conclusion that it has opened up much more potential for every nation around the globe, developed or developing. Thank you.
Now we will give a 1-minute gap for rebuttal preparation. One minute is up. Second negative speaker, you may have the floor.
Good afternoon, respected opponents and judges. I'm Bianca, the second speaker of the negative team. Before starting with my points, I would like to refute the opposing team. The previous speaker mentioned that the we've given are opinionated, but our arguments are globally known. We've been told by the government officials about this motion many times. Now, I would like to start with my main argument for today. Dangerous, especially, it can cause reduced trade with other countries due to less interaction with them. As a result of reduced trade, the country will not be able to sustain itself from lack of available natural resources and will eventually lead to disasters like famine. In case the country needs to trade internationally, without good relations, it becomes more difficult to secure a fair trade deal. This leads to lower quality of life in the country. According to Anthony Smith, nations have deep roots. They are based on pre-political culture and ethnic identities, and their social, psychological, and moral significance sustain their power and explain their persistence. In this view, nationalism emerges primarily as a cultural doctrine which seeks to preserve and promote identity, culture, and autonomy of a nation, which can lead to a narrow room for cultural unity and secure socioeconomic integration and development of countries and the people around the world. In conclusion, extreme as nationalism will lead to less interaction with other countries, causing reduced trade. This leads to reduced economic growth and might. Thank you.
Now we will give a 1-minute gap for rebuttal preparation. Third American speaker, you may have the floor. Third affirmative speaker, you may have the floor.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we also can't find where's our third affirmative speaker is. He is not in the meeting right now. He did with us. He did the research with us when we're having a research, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. How about we just move on to the third negative speaker? You may have the floor first.
And sorry to interrupt, Marcia. So later, when the third affirmative speaker is back, they may speak again, and the third negative speaker can speak the rebuttals. So your points won't be deducted. Thank you.
Team deleted. Why we should win today? Okay.
Indeed, a blessed afternoon to our honorable educators and audience right now. I am Azim, the third speaker of the negative side. Nationalism causes competition between nations that leads to war, which brings to my main argument. This dominance has caused some national groups to fight back against globalization and the evil they believe it introduces. Globalization as a concept refers to the compression of the world, intensification, and consequences of the world as a whole, both concrete global interdependence and consciousness of the global whole in the 20th century. This quote shows how the world has become a single place that's connected in one way or another. According to Giddens, globalization is identified as the intensification of worldwide social relations, which links distant localities in such a way that local happenings are shaped by events occurring many miles away and vice versa. Therefore, everything is linked to each other in such a way that it's difficult to not be a part of it. For an example, European leaders felt that they had the right to rule other land and peoples. This feeling of superiority gave rise to more conquest and competition. Nationalism also led to conflict within empires. Multinational territories such as the Ottoman Empire and Austria-Hungary combined many ethnic groups under one rule. In 1993, Ernst Röhm, an early ally of Adolf Hitler, claimed that the roots of National Socialism lie in the trenches of the World War. His this rhetoric reflects a more general interpretation of World War I as the great seminal catastrophe that created the breeding ground for the rise of extreme nationalism one in the interwar Germany and developments that eventually culminated in World War II and the Holocaust. These considerations lead us to our main hypothesis. Communities that experience higher death rates during the war display stronger preference for national parties. With all what has been argued, my team and I bring
Stop the timer if the speaker has connection issues. All right, so we'll put that on hold first because this is the fourth speaker. Then, Marcia, you may have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Since the last speakers will make rebuttals, we will give a 30-second preparation before the next speaker. Time is up. Fourth affirmative speaker, you may have the floor.
Good day, I'm Timothy Kamina, reply speaker of the affirmative side. I'd like to sum up all the arguments that have been said and crystallize them and prove that this motion should stand. Nationalism brings people together. The state government will become the main thing in international relations. It will also begin to dominate internationalism, regardless of how powerful globalization will be. Rather than the greater power of globalization, the greater the power of nationalism too. Every time when new states appear, they have more to say their people and so on. Globalization and nationalism, as already mentioned on the contrary, complement each other's quality, which has already been proved by research. And what the second speaker said proved this by the fact that more than half of us USA population is proud as Americans. Finally, I would like to conclude this debate. It is clear that with all arguments said earlier, we have effectively made rebuttals for every argument outlined by the opposing team. And not only have we strongly backed up our case with clear evidence and results, but we have also delivered our arguments with passion and finalized up our main ideas at the end of each speech. It is our cause that we strongly support the motion that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the context of globalization. And as Charles Darwin has put it this way, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, and not the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. And according to one of the greatest minds to ever exist, we are the winners, as we are more responsive to change by listening carefully and by then able to demand for ourselves to make rebuttals. In short, by doing that, we have shown ourselves to be evolving, and it is absolutely normal to consider whoever is capable of such thing to be the winner. Thank you.
We will give a 30-second preparation before the next speaker. Fourth negative, you may have the floor.
Indeed, a very nice afternoon, everyone, especially our respectable adjudicators. I am Beyonce from the Philippines, the fourth speaker on the negative side. The first speaker for side stated that independent nations will most likely cut off important trading and market system with other nations as they can provide for themselves, thus degrading the global market. Also, the second speaker of our side stated that our points that the rise of extreme nationalism can lead to lower quality of life in the country because without good relations, it becomes more difficult to secure a trade fair deal. And our third speaker pointed that because of this dominance that was caused by nationalism, it has caused some national groups to fight back against globalization and the evil they introduces. That is why this House won this debate based on the facts that we've presented and the points that we've mentioned. We firmly believe that we've won this debate as our arguments are based on fact and not opinionated. It is also very evident that on our side that we were able to list clear points and deliver facts to prove them. Furthermore, the affirmative side failed to deliver clear rebuttals on the point that we presented. That is all. Thank you.
Since the third affirmative was unable to present a speech, we are giving an opportunity to present it now. So, the third affirmative, you may have the floor.
If the third affirmative still doesn't respond, we need one of their teammates to speak on behalf of the third affirmative. And if not, we'll just completely skip it.
There are no sign that my teammate would be there, so I think I must take it up. So can we start now? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's no one saying. I'm talking about, well, on behalf of Darren. Well, good afternoon, judges and fellow debaters. I am Ben, the third speaker of the affirmative team. I would like to rebut again the arguments that have stated by the opposing team. Whereas the second negative team has stated, they have stated a lot of opinions, but instead they have failed to give statistics to further back up their arguments. And they have said, okay, I forgot. And I would like to move on to my points. Well, globalization and nationalisms are not antonyms. Before discussing anything regarding this matter, we must clearly understand the fact, and globalization unites people, eliminating all boundaries of regions, barriers, culture, language. Nationalism is one fight for his country, his or her country, cultural heritage. And when our thoughts and ideas get diluted with that from the other world, we get to learn many things, and we get to refine our misbelief, wrong idea, and superstitions. This ultimately leads to the first point. That's why my team and I agree that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous in the context of globalization. First of all, it has influenced modernization of thought. Well, look at the World Wide Web. It has opened up so much potential for us to think and to see many viewpoints under the aspect of now has an increasing number, according to YouTube, of 115 hours worth of videos uploaded on YouTube every single day. With that amount of content created, we have reached a lot of thoughts and perspective that could improve our life quality, and contributed to also the advance of technology due to sharing ideas among different countries, as I've stated before. It also has improved trade, business, import and export facility. Well, look at the USA. They have opened up organizations such as the WHO for our global health problems, and also the CDC, in which control every disease that we have seen on the pandemic so far. And they have done really a good job into connecting all religions, nations, develop or developing, to come together and fight against a deadly virus called COVID-19. while it also has insane nationalism on one hand, because national movement and struggle of one country influence the other. We all rise up of standardization. We all have a rise of standardization, and we further stronger our support on the well-being side, so that our existence on the earth lasts longer, and also everyone is living a healthier, happier life, knowing more perspective in the world. And in conclusion, I would like to finalize that uh, globalizations have made a positive effect with the addition effect of nationalism. Thank you so much. Thank you for your understanding.
Now we'll give a 1-minute gap for rebuttal preparation to the third negative speaker. One minute is up. Third negative speaker, you may have the floor. Third negative speaker, you may start from the beginning of your speech. That's all right.
If we hear no response, then the teammate of the third negative speaker can restate the
I'll
speech.
just substitute for him.
All
I
right.
think he have internet problems.
All right.
Indeed, a blessed afternoon to our honorable adjudicators and audiences right now. I am Beyonce, the third speaker on the negative side. Before proceeding to my argument, the opposition claims that nationalism is more beneficial than dangerous, but I totally disagree with that, because nationalism, it causes competition between nations that lead to war, just like what our first negative speaker said, which brings me to my main argument for today. This dominance has caused some national groups to fight back against globalization and the evil they believe it introduces. Globalization as a concept refers to the compression of the world and intensification of consciousness of the world as a whole, both concrete global interdependence and consciousness of the global whole in the 20th century. According to Giddens, globalization is identified as the intensification of worldwide social relations, which links to distant localites in such a way that local happenings are shaped by events occurring many miles away and vice versa. Therefore, everything is linked to each other in such a way that it is difficult to not be part of it. For example, European leaders felt that they had the right to rule other lands and peoples. This feeling of superiority gives rise to more conquest and competition. Nationalism also led conflict within empires, wherein multinational territories such as Ottoman Empire and Austria-Hungary combined many ethnic groups under one rule. And in 1993, Ernst Röhm, an early ally of Adolf Hitler, claimed that the roots of National Socialism lies in the trenches of the World War. His propagandist rhetoric reflects a more general interpretation of World War I as the great seminal catastrophe that created the breeding around for the rise of extreme nationalism in interwar Germany and develops that eventually culminated to World War II. And the Holocaust, these considerations and Holocaust. These considerations lead us to our main hypothesis. Communities that experience higher death rates during the war display stronger preference for nationalist parties. That is all. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our match. To all of our audience, I'm about to send the Google Forms for you to vote on your favorite speaker. The link has been posted in the chat. To our judges, please follow me inside the breakout room named Judges Meeting. You will all be given 10 minutes to decide on the winners, and I'll be waiting to list them down. To the ones in the main room, you may view some country and school profile videos we have from Turkey, Kazakhstan, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, and Malaysia, as well as performances by our school choir club. You may also fill in this Jamboard we have that includes a questionnaire for the whole event. Thank you.
Should the judges be in the breakout room now?
Yes, sir, they're already open.
Okay, let's take picture. Marcia, also take a picture. I think something is wrong with my laptop.
Yeah. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Me as well.
1, 2, 3. You.
Okay, we can go back now to the main room. Okay,
Yeah.
see you there.
See you there.
Thank you, judges. Thank you so much. Let's go to the main room.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience in waiting. All the scores have been computed. But before moving on to our debate awardees, let us announce the winners of the speech competition. So we'll start with the middle school speech competition. In third place, we have, drum roll please. Congratulations, Aliza Mikaela Azara. All right, moving on to the second place, we have, drum roll please, Sandrine Cristina E. Pacifico. And last but definitely not least, the first place of the middle school speech competition goes to, drum roll please, Marco Lorenzo Marciano. Now we'll proceed with the high school speech competition. All right, the third place goes to, drum roll please, Ben Nguyen. Moving on to the second place. Congratulations to, drum roll please, we have a tie between An Nguyen Ngoc Quinn and Julian Renee Almeida. And now the first place for the high school speech competition goes to, congratulations, Ron Jessa Bodino. Once again, congratulations to all the speech winners. Your certificates will be distributed. Before we move on to the debate awardees, maybe the debate judges wants to give any feedback or comments. You all may raise your hand. Yes, Judge Keridat.
Yes, thank you so much for the great opportunity. Congratulations to all the winners.
Do you have any feedbacks on some of the performances you saw today?
I think everybody did well, except for some whose sounds were not so clear to us. Maybe due to technical, I don't know if it's due to technical or it's because of their style.
All right.
And if I may say something, Alexandra.
Yes, is it Miss Antonia?
Katarina, yes.
Oh,
well,
yes,
I would like to congratulate to all the winners today, to the winning teams. And also, let's not forget your teachers and mentors and coaches, because without them, you wouldn't be here. So congratulations to them too. Way to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss. If I'm not mistaken, before we have one that was raising their hand, Miss Antonina.
Yeah, I just would like to say the same. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I like I like this competition very much. But you know, and I have my favorite contestants, and they are Drea, Isabel, and of course Ben. Ben was perfect, and you know, the main thing that he spoke by heart and very clear, and I liked this way very much. And thank you very much for all. Thank you.
Yes, I completely agree, Miss. The speakers you mentioned before did really great today. Are there any judges that would like to speak again? All right, seeing none, I pass the floor back to Marcia.
Thank you, Gayatri. Congratulations to our awardees. Now I will announce the winners of this debate's second match for today. The audience's favorite speaker is, drumroll please, Beyonce Lorraine Guangba. Congratulations.
Next, our affirmative best speaker is Ben-gun. Congratulations. And lastly, negative, the best speaker of the negative team is, drum roll please, Beyonce Lorraine Ngunga. Congratulations. Now the debate finals, the moment you've been waiting for. The third place goes to, drum roll please, congratulations, Team J. Next, the second place goes to, drum roll please, Team G. Congratulations. And lastly, the first place goes to, drum roll please, Team B. Congratulations. The
event is now finished. Before we truly close it off, any words from Ms. Hema or Mr. Leo?
Thank you for all the judges for your time for all the 5 days. We have this lovely event. As an organizer, we do enjoy it, and thank you for the participation of everyone. And you really graced this event. And without you guys, it won't be really possible to have such a wonderful event. Thank you all. We hope to meet you all next year again. Thank you so much. Yeah, back to Mr. Leo.
Also, yes, thank you very much to all the judges, and I'm really sorry for some of the issues. Okay, but I hope we have clarified it. And then thank you for all the, thank you to all the participants, and congratulations to all the winners. And yes, we'll see you again next year, and hopefully we'll have more countries to join. Thank you.